See if anybody shows up in here. So for those of you that didn't tune into the live, if this uploads, because it seems like only about 1 out of 2 or 3 lives that I upload actually process and go into the available videos. But as those of you that have been around for the last few weeks know, we've been looking for a while for a replacement to our travel trailer, and the diesel pusher bug had had bitten me a long time ago, and even though I had some pretty bad luck with the last pusher, um, it really saved us in the hurricane. So my Cummins home generator failed. It's on failure number 8. We still have it. It's got an extended warranty on it, but they keep fixing it and it keeps breaking. So as much as I would love to say, hey, Cummins is great on their propane home generators, I would kind of tend to avoid them. Just a little piece of advice from a very experienced generator owner of one of those products. But anyway, so we found this little guy here, '05 Safari Gazelle. There's only about somewhere between 50 and 100 of these. Kind of a liability. Unfortunately, limited supply of this particular one might hurt the value, and it's probably why it didn't sell faster in this market. But the good news is that it gave me some ability to negotiate the price down a bit. It's pretty clean, but it's not quite as, I guess, perfect as I hoped it would be. It's really hard to see everything that can be wrong with an RV, especially a 17-year-old RV. But we're working through the issues, and it's got a lot more good than bad. So far, the biggest problem that we've had is the Aqua Hut had not been maintained properly. So the jet was clogged up. It actually sprays diesel. If you're not familiar with the Aqua Hut, it sprays diesel in this combustion chamber, and then it makes a 180 and exits on the outside of the chamber, which exposes it to the tank, the hot water tank, and it works very well. But when I fired it up, it started right up and worked great. And I thought, okay, hey, it's working. We've got hot water. The problem is that the place that I bought it from, he had a bunch of RVs crammed in a small space. You couldn't really get a good look at things. And when we bought it, we took it camping, threw the Aqua Hut on, and I walked outside to check things, and there was a big black ring under the exhaust pipe. So well, obviously they haven't maintained it, and unfortunately, when I went to pull the combustion chamber out to clean it, which is a normal thing you do every year, it wouldn't come out. And I spent about $40 at Harbor Freight, which I don't usually go to, but I went there, bought some tools, and managed to extract the chamber, which was completely destroyed, melted down, burned up because they had ran this thing for so long without replacing that nozzle. And it was just, I guess, pulling diesel on the, I don't know, spraying it directly on the wall of the combustion chamber. And so we ordered another one, supposed to be here in 3 days, postal priority. They went out on Tuesday, which I ordered the previous Thursday, so they took their time sending it, but still, we needed it by today, Friday, and it shipped on Tuesday. I get the shipment notification, click on the tracking, and it says 6 days to get it. Um, Huge pain in the butt that was, but long story short, it ended up getting here in 3 days anyway. And we had already started an intercept to have it redirected to where we're going to be going uh, for our little vacation we're going on. And luckily, we were able to. I got a notification this morning saying it had arrived in my town. When we got to the post office, they had already put a new sticker on it to the new location, and they were getting ready to load it up that quick. But we caught it, so just got through with that, put that in place, and it's working. Looks like nobody's hanging out on YouTube on a Friday night. Or at least YouTube is not working properly, because at this point I have a big 0 number of viewers. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick walk through this thing. Uh, get my ugly mug off of here. So it only has 38,000 miles on it, and also the engine diagnostics show just over 1,000 hours. So if you figure 38,000, that's an moving average of 38 miles per hour. Which you're going to have some idle time, you're going to have city time, you're going to have highway time, and it's a pretty reasonable number. I believe it's I believe that they both correspond very nicely, so I feel confident that the mileage is correct. One of the things that I just did was put in this Android based deck, mainly because I need a couple of things. One of them is Google Maps, which you can get through Android Auto, but you cannot get radar data. And when you're driving something like this, it's really nice to have the ability of seeing what's out there. So the problem with this unit, I went with a cheap one because I wasn't sure. I like this thing a lot as far as the size, the weight. You see these cracks right here. That's on all the screws. And the reason is that the original deck, which is over there, was extremely heavy, early 2000s technology. And it's actually fully supported only by the faceplate. So this thing being much lighter is definitely a much better way to go. So let's see. I use radar scope, which you see a lot of storm chasers use, and I also tried the radar Omega, but it's just too big for this piece of crap. This thing is so incredibly slow at doing things. It's going to have to go back. It has a 30-day return. It's going to be returned, and I'm going to have to just spend the money to get a better one. But as you can see, I can see where lightning is at. I can see hail. I can see rotation. So it's a 10-inch screen also, so it's a lot easier to see. I mean, you could play YouTube on there if you really wanted to, but for me, it's traffic, navigation, weather, and being able to stream Pandora. So pretty doggone happy with that, actually. Other than the fact that it's slow, but I like the format, so I'm going to just send this one back, spend the bucks on a higher quality processor version of it, and hope for the best. But this is old. It's not like the Tiffin, so it doesn't have the electric shades or anything. It's all the old curtains, but they're all in good shape. And they've already, previous owner upgraded with some kind of crappy Element smart TVs that don't have all the functionality. So I'm going to put probably a Samsung in here that has everything, because we use a little bit of everything, Amazon, YouTube, whatever. And that TV is going to go out into the cargo bay so that I can have a TV out in the patio area. Something else I did was, it didn't have a light in the awning, so I added this in, and basically a dimmer. And then we'll go out and take the outside look here real quick. I bought warm white instead of cool white because I can't stand cool white. And actually, it is really bright. So, and that's max brightness, but dim it down, where it's bearable. But I'm super happy with how bright that is. Now this RV has the shortest awning on it. It's only, I think, 12, not even 12 feet, or maybe right at 12 feet. And it's pretty high up, so the sun really gets under it bad. Coming from a 26-foot travel trailer with a full-length awning, I'm not real happy with that awning. That's probably going to be what will eventually drive me to another RV. But for now, I'm happy to have a diesel RV. So who's complaining right now? And it's got your usual stuff. 7500 diesel Onan generator in there, Cummins. Missing a wheel cap over here. But she's pretty decent looking. It's shiny still. This has the 8 airbag chassis, so it's a good and bad thing. It's actually a really good chassis in terms of the ride and handling, but they put an airbag in front and behind each wheel on all 4 corners, and it kind of has this big caddy that the drivetrain rides on, or the axles, I should say. And the problem with that is that it gets into your storage area a bit. So this thing has kind of an unusual layout, in that like the Aqua Hut has a dedicated bay, which is actually really pretty daggone nice. I think there's a light in there, but I don't know. I haven't learned everything about this yet. So another strange thing is that the fuel tanks, I think there's a light switch. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So I just rebuilt the Aqua Hut, and it seems to be functioning pretty good now. But there's a that's all that's in there. You know, there's some oil and some other stuff in there, but not a lot of storage. Then the next bay back is your fresh water, that little narrow bay. And that one's the most unusual because that is actually a 130 gallon fuel tank and propane tank access, not any storage. So it's definitely so there's no pass-through storage on this RV. But I'll go around this way here. So this one is cat powered, and I've always had Cummins. So far, I'm not real happy with the gas mileage, which I knew was going to be not as good on cat. But it's got the 400 C9 in it, and it should be able to get the mileage that I'm looking for, which is anything above 7 miles per gallon while towing a vehicle. We were observing something like 6.2 not towing a vehicle. However, I replaced the fuel filters and found both of them to be kind of gunked up, possibly with a little bit of algae or something in the past. And I'm also occasionally getting ATC light, which is a known symptom of fuel filters needing to be replaced. So I've talked to several techs, and they've all told me that they feel like if I replace those two filters, I'm going to be amazed at the difference in mile per gallon. So we'll see. Anyway, this bay has the gray and black tank in the upper half, and then it's got some storage underneath, like low-level storage. That one, I can't remember what this one has. Oh, this has your inverters. The batteries are back there. But here's your storage bay. And it's kind of strange that they have a light switch for turning on the storage bay lights on the other side. That, by the way, insulation, what that junk is right there, we are going to take the lower half of the skylight in the shower down and cut insulation to fit it and just close it off. Nice dark bedroom, but under the doors there's a huge skylight up there, and right on the top of the shower, and it just blinds you when you open the door up, or it even comes under it. So I got some foil backed insulation that I brought from the other house today, but it's got that goes all the way across, except the aqua hot is on the back wall, so you can't go all the way through. But it's a big bay, plenty of storage there, so you get some storage in here as well. Pretty good bit of storage in that small bay as well. And we're back to the fuel thing over here. Let me pull that up real quick. How good you can see it, but in there is a gigantic, I think it's 40 or 50 gallon propane tank, which kind of surprised how big that thing is, to be honest. But in any case, and then your fuel tank. So that's definitely a difference from what I'm used to in these. And it's got a keypad and keyless entry and all that good stuff. So lots of storage, like the steps have storage. There's a lot of cool features that Tiffin really just doesn't do, or didn't do at this time especially. Something I've always wanted in my RV was a place to put what I can no longer eat. All right, I think that goes, yeah, that's all the way. No, maybe that's not all the way. There we go. That is going to be a satellite wire, which I disconnected from the old stereo. Anyway, look at that for your fast food, you know, which I cannot have anymore. I can't have fast food, so I don't know what I'll be eating on there. I guess I can put some water and maybe some pieces of lettuce on there or something for my diet. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up because I got to get back home to get some dinner. It seems like we've always had a booth in our RV, and I've been wanting to get a regular table, so we're going to see how that works out. Nice little recliner and leg rest there. They put a new Samsung convection oven in here, so never been used. And they put a brand new Haier, I don't know how you say that, residential fridge, new inverter. So this is all brand new. I mean, it's never been used. So we're pretty happy with that. We got you know, some of the things you get with a new RV, minus the price. And I would really like the freezer, except there's no lights, but every bay in the freezer has a bin, which makes it super nice to organize your stuff. And kind of a weird bathroom, to be honest with you. So it's got a big shower. I feel like this thing could zoom back more. There we go. It's got a nice big shower, but notice there's no sink in this area. There's storage cabinets. So to get to the bathroom sink, you have to go in the pooper area. And then there's your sink with a little bitty counter. That almost made me not purchase this RV. But, you know, there's some nice things like this little switch here. Turns on this little night light. So, you know, you can come to the bathroom, come in here in the middle of the night, and you have just enough light that you can, you know, see what you're doing without having to disturb anybody else that might be sleeping. So I like little touches like that. It's got floor accent lighting. Pretty cool little features. So the reason for the oddball situation here of not having a vanity in here is that this was a rare king option. So it's got a queen mattress and actually a super nice mattress. I'm very, very happy with the mattress. I just wish it was a king, because in order to put a king in these, they take out the nightstand on this side, and because this is widened, they bring this wall back a little bit, which leaves too small of a space for a vanity. So if you had a queen option, you'd have a vanity in there and over here. So kind of like got, you know, the queen option or the king option with a queen anyway. So eventually, I guess if we keep this RV, we will be upgrading it. But nice big closet space. And the craziest features I've seen is, of course, it has the good old washer dryer combo, which a lot of these do have. The dryer really sucks on these. I mean, it works, but it's slow, and while it's drying, of course, you can't wash under the load, whatever. Cool dirty clothes hamper built in. But the craziest thing is that when they upgraded to a flat panel TV, they put a dryer in here. I thought that was pretty dang cool. The only problem is the screws for the TV mount are cutting into the front of the dryer. So we're going to have to work on that before we go anywhere. Easy enough to fix. The dryer can't go back any further. So I'm either going to have to space this out or counterbore these, or you know, space the whole door out or whatever. But pretty cool. It's just a small dorm style dryer, but it's a nice touch, because believe me, I know how terrible it is for these dryers. They are very, very slow and annoying. Here you can throw a few important things in there and run into the load or whatever. So, and there are doors here that come together. I would really prefer a single door. It's a pain in the butt, but who's complaining? So that is the new to me, but old to most people, ZZ3 RV. You know, we had the Grand Design travel trailer, and it got us through a couple of years. And the whole thing was, the Tiffin that we had was horrible. I actually had two Tiffins. I bought a Tiffin, and 4 days later it was destroyed in Hurricane Michael under the weight of my wonderful brand new pole barn that was supposed to hold up. And so I liked some things about the Tiffin, and the Tiffins were just, they're beautiful. They are, in my experience, poorly engineered, but they look amazing. And, you know, it's like you're in a palace in a Tiffin. But long story short, we had a lot of problems with it. And it was in the shop more than it was camping. Just everything on it was falling apart. And so we ended up just selling it. And I took a pretty good bath on it. And so this time around, I said, I want those features. I want the diesel hot water heater, the AquaHot or similar. I want 4 slides. I want to be less than 40 feet, but very close, 39, just like the 37 AP Tiffin we had. Because I did have a 40.5 Tiffin, which it's hard to explain what 1 foot does, but I feel like 37 is the perfect size in terms of being able to go into the kind of places we go. 39 is not bad, but once you get to 40 plus, it's a whole different ball game. But I didn't want to have a chance of losing as much money, and this one popped up, had a lot of the features that we wanted, such as dual heat pumps plus your hydroponic heating, which your AquaHot not only heats the water, but there are vents all over the place. So that will actually run on 12 volts and heat the entire RV using diesel. So, it has that throughout the coach, and it had a residential fridge already, and it had a gas cooktop, which we didn't want electric, having coming from the Tiffin. And I'm not a huge fan of propane, but I'm going to tell you right now, having to put a generator on in a campsite because they only give you 30 amps so you can make your breakfast doesn't make your neighbors happy. Now, what we ended up doing was buying some electric 110 volt cooktops. Plug that in, put it on the counter, cooked our breakfast that way. But, the propane, it would probably get us for a year of camping without having to refill the tank. So I just decided I don't want a propane generator, and I don't want propane water heat. I want propane cooktop. And with a T and a quick connect fitting, the propane can power up your grill, can power up propane heaters, whatever you want outside. So that's why we went this route. But in any case, that's it, guys. I've been very, very busy with all free time on this, trying to get it ready for a trip that we're getting ready to go on. Haven't really touched the cars. It's been super hot. Been working on the houses, trying to get some things going with that. About to have probably another renter for this house that this is parked at. So far that's going pretty good, and I hope that it continues to be that way, because I've heard of horror stories, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that is the tour. So I'll hopefully here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing some work on the 49 and ordering more parts for the IROC. So I'll keep you guys posted. Catch you later on.